Hello and welcome. This is a mobility stick routine where you're going to need a dowel. This is a long dowel. I think it's about meter and a half. Okay. And what I'm doing right now is I'm just taking my elastic bands, my mini loops, and I'm just tying them around the edge, so the end point, so that I have more grip. So I'm just going to sort of makeshift the grip, and it's actually very helpful. So I'm turning it, pulling it across, and then continuing to do the same. It actually would be nice to get a couple of like ribs on there so that you can really grip strong. This is just another makeshift way of taking your home tools and really giving them a little extra boost with grip, because if you're on the dowel, it'll just slip off if you have sweaty hands. So the more sweat and the more heat you generate to the rubber, the more grippy it is. So I've done that with the other side as well. All right, so let's begin. This is a good chance to feel so good in your body. So what we're gonna do is start off, we're gonna play around with the angles. We're going to go through a whole body mobility sequence with this dowel or this wooden staff. I'm going to call it my mobility staff. One of my favorite characters in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was Donatello, and so it's funny and fitting that I'm going to be coming back to that as an older adult, as an adult. All right, so you're going to take your hands, place them out around shoulder height, and just from here, step back. You see how far away I am from the stick. I'm just going to hinge forward and get my arms to fully stretch. My hamstrings are going to feel this love. And I really encourage you to find your breath when you enter some more uncomfortable positions and ranges of motion. The point of today's session is about exploring your range of motion and really trying to bring some light, some oxygen to the corners and the cobwebs areas of your body. Okay, from here we're going to just shift to the one side, and I've just taken a little bit of a alternate stance where one leg is straight, one leg is bent. Then I'm going to do the same thing on the other, shifting over to my left, feeling that straight left leg, right knee bent. I'm going to do it again. Just shifting over to the side, pushing my hips in the opposite direction of the hands, keeping my arms straight out. And then I switch. Oh yeah, it feels so good under the arms. Okay, from here, let's rise. Oh yeah, right off the bat, feels so good. All right, from here, we're going to take it to one hand. So right hand holding the high part of the stick. We're going to stagger. We're going to take our left foot forward, right leg back. So you're going into this lunge stance. And from here, if you want, you can place your thumb on top of the stick and just let yourself hang here. It's called a monkey hang. Just like you're grabbing onto a really high branch. And I'm now stretching this entire sling or fascial line right through my armpit, ribs, hips. I'm going to feel that in my hip crease. And you're the lead here. You get to choose where you want to feel it more. So if you're really feeling a high amount of stretch in your arms, back off a little bit, maybe grip a little higher, and then try to get more of your hips. If you want to feel it in your hip flexors, let's think about tucking the tail slightly down so that the pelvic bowl balances out so it's not so tipped forward. And then from there, you're like, oh, okay, now I can feel that. Just that slight motion, that under tuck of the pelvis will get you right into that hip crease. If you're starting to feel fatigue in your quads, straighten up, stand up, come out of it. Okay? So just spending a little bit more time in these positions. And again, when you get to your deep position and you're feeling the stretch, to really add some more range on a more holistic level, a more physiological, chemical, biochemical level, we breathe. So I'm going to take 2 deep breaths. And another. And then I'm going to step out of it. All right, let's try the other side. So your right foot is going to be in line with the bottom of the stick. Your left foot's going to step back. And your left hand is going to grab the top of the stick as well in a lunge stance. And from here, I just let myself hang. I'm going to lean back a little bit more. Very exploratory sequence here. I want you guys to really be curious and explore, adventure into different body areas. Be okay with the uncomfortable. And just know that every second that goes by, every breath that you take in while you're in the uncomfortable allows your system to adapt, making this more of a therapeutic approach to stretching when you can tie all these things, call them in, tie all these elements together, these restorative elements, these regenerative, cellular regenerative elements together. All right, let's finish off with 2 deep breaths. Big inhale. Trying to imagine the breath, cooling breath going into these hot, compressed, closed-in areas. One more time, cooling breath, cleansing the areas. All right, well done. From here, we're going to give our shoulders some love. So now that we've opened up the range, you're going to take your hands, place them nice and wide, and from here, you're going to pull them up, 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 and then just hold it behind your crown, outstretched arms nice and straight. So really open up that bicep area. Feel that big stretch in the chest. Strong, firm grip in the long staff. And let's start to inch a little lower, further behind your back. If that's too hardcore and you're not able to breathe normally with a relaxed state, let's just creep our fingers further out, okay? So you don't have to make it so difficult. Also notice other things that are happening in your body, like compensation. So are you really arching your back to get there? Or can you just tuck your pelvis, be a little stronger, more firm in your core area, and not let yourself dump into that duck butt position, okay? So really holding that stretch, bring some breath into the shoulder chest. Let's see if we can go a little further back and lower. All right. Now there should be that point where you can probably take the stick down to your lower back. Ooh. And floss it forward. So we're going to add that element right now. So if that was impossible in your mind, let's go a little wider. If that wasn't enough, go narrow. We're going to floss all the way up over the crown of our head and then behind to our tail and then up and over. Now one arm may feel it more than the other. It really depends on how you are arriving here today. Maybe you have some tightness from a previous injury. Maybe you have a compensation pattern happening in one side because, yeah, you might not be ambidextrous, which many of us are not. So I feel this more in my right shoulder than my left. And we'll do one more. And release. All right. From here, we're going to continue on with our shoulders. We're going to place the stick behind your back. This one, you're going to probably go as wide as you can with your palms facing forward. From here, this one's a great stretch and wrist exercise. Okay, a stretch for your wrist muscles and the muscles, the fibers that surround the wrist joints, the elbows, and the shoulders. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take it up and behind, floss through the uncomfortable position, Get it right over your head, and then slowly bring it forward. Okay, see how your hand is now kind of like a python wrapped around the stick? Hold it there. Now you really feel that stretch in your forearm extensors, the ones that are at the top of your wrist. And then pull it up and back. All right, let's try it one more time. Up and over, feeling it in the stretch of your wrists. Strong grip. Your shoulders have sort of rolled forward as well, so that's a nice position. It's odd, feels different. That's okay. It's good to get into these odd positions because on a functional level, on a utility level, when we injure ourselves, it's because our bodies are forced unexpectedly into these odd positions. So if you can create these new neural pathways, these new positions, these odd positions, some familiarity with these positions, your body has a memory and it'll remember that it has this range. It's not so foreign. Good. All right. From here, we're going to go to a side body stretch. You're going to place the stick right on your right side with your hand at waist height. You're going to arc, reach above, and from here, just push that stick away. And as you feel more comfortable, you can start to walk your hands a little lower. And in this position, you definitely have that stability of the stick. I encourage you to push your hips away from the bottom hand. And we're going to add some rotation. So while you're in this like in between of uncomfortable and comfortable, I don't want you to be too uncomfortable. If it's too uncomfortable, just walk yourself a little higher. Okay, maybe we can start there for now. So again, big arc, left arm, top arm is nice and straight. I'm going to rotate my chest and eyes up towards the ceiling. And then I'm going to come back down. And I'm going to turn the position of my feet. I'm going to turn them out into a V. And from there, I want you to think about really squeezing a pencil in between your butt cheeks. Okay? So tighten up, pull your knees in, squeeze your glutes, and then start to rotate. So there we've created a nice strong foundation in the hips, in the glutes and lower back, so that we can really open up that left hip, left arm, and again, push your hips away and slightly forward as well. And then slowly come out of it. So I've hit the QL and the front ribs, the serratus area of the body, as well as my lats, so those underarm wing muscles. Let's take it to the other side. We'll first start off with our feet forward, just the initial position, arc, reach above and over, okay, and then start to push the hips away, and then play around with how deep your hands are going to go. So how far you want to go, how intense you want to feel this is about depth. So how low you can reach the stick. Now push the top arm away. Automatically you'll feel this beautiful side line stretch. And let's imagine breathing in, opening up the gills that are your ribs, and then exhale, let it out. Breathing in, bring in the new oxygen, and exhale the carbon dioxide. Inhale cool and cleansing air. Exhale warm, swampy air, stagnant air. One more time. Cleansing in. Exhale, stagnant. Okay, from here, let's come out of it. Let's reposition our feet, penguin feet. Or ballerina plie, nice and stiff. I'm going to take my stick just slightly out, and from here we're going to add that rotation. So top arm nice and long, bottom arm stable. From here, let's straighten out our legs, get into that nice long arcing position, and let's turn our chest. Straight legs, breathing into the ribs, feeling the opening. Big stretch. Keep that top arm nice and long. It's like a rainbow, really long. Bottom arm is pushing into the stick to help stabilize. And slowly coming out. Ooh, yeah. Oh, beautiful. Okay, we're going to go into some legs and some torso work. This one's my favorite stretch. It is one of the bigger ones in this sequence. So I'm going to take a nice soft stance in my knees. All right, my palms are going to face upwards, and I'm going to work on my hinge. So I'm going to hinge forward without rounding my back, and I'm going to push my butt cheeks back. You can see that they're right into that wall behind me. And from here, I'm just going to hold that position just so I can feel that initial stretch in my hamstrings. Now we're coming up to the high part of the hamstrings, right by the sit bones. Maybe you'll feel a stretch in your groin. Okay? And just holding that position. Give me a long torso, really strong cylindrical style torso. Draw the belly in, and when you inhale, you're going to feel the ribs sort of lift off that pelvis, creating some length and what we call decompression in the spine. Feel it lift all together, and then lower. Sit back a little further, bring that chest low, keep that spine nice and straight, nice and strong. And let's rise out. Just getting familiar with that position. So right now my stick is resting on my chest, my arms are wide. Let's try again. Hinge. Feel the stretch in the hammies. Now we're going to do a shift. Shift to the right side, keeping your feet flat, and really feeling that groin, left groin especially. Okay, if this is a bit much, I recognize that. I can feel it myself. I'm going to place my stick right in the center. I'm going to use that as a stable anchor. Okay, and then I'm going to shift to the left. So for those who need that extra stability, join me here. Otherwise, continue on with some of this functional core lower back conditioning. Just holding yourself in midair with your lower back muscles. Okay, they're both super beneficial, but just play to where you feel comfortable, uncomfortable. Let's say out of 10 right now, we're feeling that stretch. It's going to be about a 4, 5, or 6 out of 10. And in discomfort level, maybe around that 5 or 6 level, okay? Let's shift over again. So we're just prepping for this really big stretch coming up. And then again, rise out of it. Okay, so this is where we're going to have to find some coordination. All right, you're going to take the left side. So my green side, I'm going to soften my knees. My green side is going to pin down towards my right big toe. From here, once I've rotated my body, I can feel there's something that's going to happen. What's going to happen is I'm going to take from the previous exercise, my shift, I'm going to shift to the left, and I'm going to allow the stick to drift behind me. So I've allowed the right shoulder to roll forward, okay? And my hand is going to start to turn sort of behind me, all right? So that I can allow my chest and shoulder to release so that I can get that torso stretch. Otherwise, you'll be stuck here with a really tight chest, okay? So I don't want that right now. So let's go. Shift to the left. Let the hand drift behind you. Keep it right along that stick and chest should be connected here. And the magic here is that reach. The bottom hand is reaching as far down towards the big toe as possible. And see if you can breathe into this major twist. Looks super cool on the camera, doesn't it? All right, let's come out of it. Very potent stretch. Rise out. All right, let's try the other side. We'll start off with the hands. If you're sort of in need of more grip, you can take your bands and just pull them down. Okay? All right, soften the knees. You're going to place the right end across the midline, down towards the left big toe. Okay, and from here I'm going to readjust my top hand. Now I'm going to shift to the right. And now I'm going to allow my left shoulder to roll forward, and my hand is going to rotate, okay, behind me. And I'm going to lean sideways. I'm going to try to keep that torso nice and long. And again, where that magic happens is that bottom hand. The further down I reach, the more I'm going to feel that stretch in my right shoulder blade, my groin, my torso. And then from here, we take 2 giant trunk, so torso expanding breaths. Here we go. Inhale. And exhale. And again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Come on out of it. Slowly rise. Oh, yeah. And there you have it. So we got through some really deep stretches there. We did our 2 major stretches, which was the monkey hang, 3, monkey hang, the hip flexor, just review, okay. Then we went to another deep stretch, which was the side arc and rotate. And then we did the ninja twist. Okay. Thank you so much for partaking in this follow along video. This was a mobility snack. My name is Julian. For more of this good stuff, stay tuned to my channel or visit me at julianho.ca. Thank you guys. Peace, love. May the flow be with you.